You're listening to the Integrative Health Simplified podcast with Kari, Coody, pharmacist turned integrative health practitioner. Here we talk all things straightforward and honest when it comes to holistic health and simplifying your best steps forward while eliminating all the gimmicks and confusion. Leave the overwhelm at the door and get ready for impactful action steps that get to the real root of your issue and actually move the needle in your health. Let's dive into the show. Welcome back into the Integrative Health Simplified podcast. My name is Kari, and we are wrapping up a series that we've been doing called Common Health Misconceptions. And so we are in episode 19 of season 1 and really have enjoyed being with you guys in these 19 episodes. And I really loved this series also, just going through some of the common health misconceptions that have been out there or are still out there, right? Sometimes these things die hard. So I want to dive into one last misconception, and that is just that if we want to lose weight, we just need to exercise more. And so this is sort of a calories in, calories out type of mentality. And so it's just very common to think that burning calories is the key to losing weight and to health and all of those things. But I just think that, unfortunately, this is still misguided thinking, because just thinking about exercise as a purpose to burn calories, unfortunately, is still quite prevalent. I can't talk. Even the other day, a graphic popped up on an ad site, and it was just talking about this exercise burns this many calories. And I'm sure you've all seen those things. And I was, it was definitely, probably even before I had kids, which was probably about 12, 13 years ago, I really was hyper-focused on how many calories I was going to burn with with certain exercises that I did. I was popping lean cuisines in the microwave and eating them for lunch. So that right there should tell you everything that you need to know about my mindset. Definitely low fat. That, of course, that's still somewhat of a thought process today, but maybe not as much, I hope. But it was definitely a fad. It was definitely a thing. And so all the artificial sweeteners, that type of mentality. And so you might still sort of be in this, calorie in, calorie out type of mentality. Unfortunately, it's still something that we are bombarded with. It's still kind of part of what I'm calling diet culture. And so these type of graphics and sort of that type of thinking it can breed eating disorders. It can just sort of make you think that you have to earn every bite of food you consume. And this is a very damaging way to think. And just as a mom to a daughter, I definitely don't want her to be consumed with anything relating to this, right? I want to teach her, model for her how to eat for energy, eat for joy, eat for nourishment, not eat and think about how she's going to burn those calories. I mean, it's just, right? We want to have healthy thoughts around nutrition and also around movement. And so, not to mention, people still have this whole mentality of intentionally burning off things that you eat and using certain foods to fuel your workouts and being, kind of a building block, not an energy source. I think that kind of is sort of more rampant in the fitness industry also. But I think we just have to remember that our bodies require energy to do more things than just move, right? Our bodies need energy from food to keep us alive, to digest food, to produce sex hormones like we were just talking about in the last episode, to think, to laugh, to breathe, almost all the functions that go on, right? We need energy for those. And so one of the more transformative changes in thinking came when I stopped fixating on the amount of calories burned during a workout and instead viewed exercise as an opportunity to just feel better throughout the day, right? I move now so that I can build muscle. Yes, that does help with metabolic function and all of that. But also just because I feel good when I exercise, right? Our bodies are made to move. It's not necessarily I need to burn this many calories because I ate extra calories. So I think it just kind of goes from like a short-term thinking to a long-term thinking, and also from a calorie focused thinking to a health, like overall health focused thinking. And so the value of exercise just goes far beyond weight loss and calories burned during an exercise session. In fact, our bodies actually don't burn that many calories during an exercise session. So on top of that, like a lot of these calorie trackers aren't necessarily accurate. There were studies done just to say that they were off by as much as 30%. And so just trying to be super strict with that, sometimes it's not even accurate. And so just thinking about most of our calories are burned at other times of the day that are outside of our specific exercise time. And so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that exercise isn't important and that calories don't matter, but burning more calories doesn't elicit more health benefits. There's not a direct relationship there, right? And so I just wish I could have told myself that, like, calories burned during a workout is not the most important thing. Like, stop obsessing over these things. And also just thinking about how the body requires calories to build. And, you know, obviously as women, we should want to feel like strong and feminine and, you know, have like a strong body so that we can keep up with our kids and we can, you know, do all the things that we kind of want to do in that regard. And so constantly trying to burn calories will actually waste away this precious muscle that we want to build, that helps us to be strong and leads to hormonal balance and metabolically flexible. Like, that's what we want. And so whenever we think that we have to be at a calorie deficit or we have to be at this low amount of calories in a day, and so we need to work out to get down to that, that really actually does hurt us a lot in the long run. And so I think it's really important just to consider why you're working out. And if it's solely to lose weight, I would just encourage you to change your mindset around that, because really exercise does help us to have some of those healthy hormones like endorphins that help us to feel happy and to give us more energy and focus to have really a lot of those benefits outside of just the exercise period that help us to be better moms and wives and employees and all of these things, and help us to serve others with more energy and with more joy. And so I think just kind of switching mindset around working out just for calorie burning is super important. And also, I think sometimes too, again, if you do find yourself, you know, weighing more than you want to, you know, first consider, are you really overweight, or are you just carrying more weight than you're used to? What about your stress level? Or what about your diet? What about, you know, a lot more things than just, I need to lose weight, so I'm going to work out more. Because honestly, if our body's feeling extremely stressed, sometimes the worst thing we can do is go do a hard workout, because that exercise is stress. It's stress to our body. Now, I'm not saying that's always bad stress, because it's not, but sometimes our body is at the max stress that it can take. And so we don't need to go do more at the gym. We don't need to add more workouts. We just need to support our body in other ways so that it can, you know, feel a little bit more in abundance, not necessarily scarcity mindset. You know, it's just feeling all this stress and it's just like, I just can't do another workout. So I think all of these things are really something to consider, and not just, I want to be a certain weight, so I need to, you know, add in X amount more workouts, or I need to do a harder workout or something like that. And while I'm on this topic, I definitely want to address training fasted, because I think that's a popular diet culture thing that is still a thing. So I want you to just consider, whenever we work out, whenever we have, you know, we're doing exercise, it's calling on our body for energy, right? We need energy for those things. And so coming from a fasted state overnight, we don't have the appropriate fuel or energy for our body to utilize. And so that puts stress on our body and it drops our blood sugar. Anytime our blood sugar drops, it requires stress hormones like cortisol to bring it back up, especially if it doesn't have the fuel that it needs from food. And so when our body is pumping full of these stress hormones, it puts us in this fight or flight state, which obviously we're trying to get out of. And so again, fight or flight is like running from a bear. And when we're in this state, our body can't prioritize a lot of different things that we want it to, like digestion and hormones and weight maintenance. And so I think it's just something to consider. Are you putting more stress on your body that is actually working against you? That's really what I want you to think about when you think about working out, and really having this mentality like, okay, I need to work out more so I can lose weight. Maybe what you need is you need to actually eat more. And I know that sounds very counterintuitive. However, I just see it all the time. It might sound really crazy, like, of course I'm eating enough, but how do you know that? And also, I mean, all calories aren't created equal, right? And so are you eating a lot of empty calories that aren't really giving you the protein, carbs, fat, minerals, vitamins that you need? And your body's really feeling voided of that. And then you're calling on it to do this hard workout. It's not going to go well over time. Your body's actually going to become weight loss resistant because it feels very, it just feels very unstable. And so when our body feels unstable, it's going to hold on to everything that we give it. And so that goes for weight, of course, because our body, of course, wants to survive. That's its highest priority. So a lot of times whenever we have this weight loss resistance, but we're doing all the right things, it's really because our body is not feeling in abundance. It's feeling very stressed. And so sometimes exercise can be adding to that. So I hope this just gives you something else to think about. Again, I think it really goes back to changing your thought process on how you look at exercise. I hope and pray that you look at exercise as something that God has given to us. Our bodies are made to move. Yes, I want you to enjoy working out. I want you to do it because it helps you to be just, show up better. It helps you to be stronger, to have more energy to do the things that God's called you to, not because you feel like you ate something and now you need to go work it off. I really pray that you can slowly change that. Pray about it, right? God can help us to really change our mind, change our heart. That sometimes it's a heart issue. And so I just pray that you would, take time to pray about it if you do feel like this is an issue for you. And I also just wanted to mention, as far as working out fasted specifically, I meant to mention this earlier, but training fasted, again, is not something that I recommend. However, if you're like, okay, well, the only time I can work out is in the morning. So I want to just encourage you to eat something before you work out, like something small, just something. So I'm just going to give you some ideas. So I love to make these gelatin gummies, and that's what I eat if I work out in the morning, like first thing in the morning. So I'll eat 1 to 2 of those, just depending on how big they are. And it's a really great like protein, fat, carb that's easily digested. It doesn't make me super full, but it holds me over until I can eat breakfast, probably an hour, hour and a half later. And so those are really good. I'll put the link to those in the show notes and in the description of this video. Also, just a small piece of fruit, a quick smoothie, yogurt, hard-boiled egg and fruit, beef jerky. Like those are all kind of just easy things that you could grab, but really something, anything, hopefully not very processed and super, laden with a lot of sugar. That might not be really great. Like more of like a processed carb that probably wouldn't be great to eat before a workout, but I want to just encourage you to eat something. So something is better than nothing at any rate, but hopefully that gives you some ideas of just quick snacks that you can grab before a workout. And again, I was mentioning that for in the morning, but really anytime during the day, you don't need to go work out and do exercise if you are, haven't eaten within 3 to 4 hours. So, I just love having these conversations and just talking about things that are still mindset shifts that maybe people need to make, and that will really help with overall health and just having more joy in our life. Like that's really my goal for myself, my kids, my client. Like I just want us to really experience the goodness that God has given to us. And sometimes it's these little misconceptions and these little, the ways that we approach things that really steal a lot of the joy from the things that he's given us that are good. He gave us these things because he said they're good. And so sometimes we can look at them and they can become not so good. So hope this helps. Again, I love to continue these conversations. And if this really helped you, if you really resonated with this, I would love for you to share it with somebody that maybe came to your minds, just so they can maybe help them with a mindset shift around this topic. But I really appreciate you being here on this episode. And then if you've been with me during this series of these common health misconceptions, I hope you've enjoyed them. Let me know. I'm always curious what questions you guys have and what other topics that you would love to hear. Let me know. Get in touch with me on Instagram. I'm on there a good bit. And also email is a great way to continue the conversation. So Kari@KariCoody.com. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. If this episode has served you in any way, I would love it if you'd share any aha moments or takeaways over on Instagram and tag me @KariCoody. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so we can continue to learn and grow together.